guys, welcome back, and today I am doing the next part of RedPower, which is RedPower logic. Now last episode I showed you RedPower wiring, and this is the next part of RedPower. So basically in default Minecraft you should know some stuff about things like logic gates. So if I was to show you vanilla Minecraft logic gate, it would just be sort of like this. Just get some redstone. I love not enough items. So those who've used like vanilla things before, you'll recognize this, and that's just like a default logic gate, or yeah, the default logic gate. But RedPower logic expands on this by a lot, and a tremendous lot actually. So to start off, you would require a screwdriver, which is, the recipe is just a stick and an iron ingot, and these will come in handy later on, so I'll tell you about it later. But the first thing I want to mention, that there is an upgrade with this, which is the sonic screwdriver, which is a BT battery, which is a blue trick battery, which I shall be explaining about in a later video. Brass ingots, which I think I'll explain in a later video, and the emerald, which would also be explained in another video. But that's just basically upgrade to a screwdriver, if you will, and it'll just basically, it won't destroy it, because this, if you use it a lot, it will get destroyed just like any other tool. But the sonic screwdriver won't, because it operates on electricity, which, like I said, I shall explain on in a different video. And so with the screwdriver, it allows you to orientate like these logic gates, which I shall start showing you first now. But first, basically, in order to craft these logic gates, you would require some individual parts, and the parts are stone wafers, which if you look, all you need to do is smelt a piece of stone. You get 2 stone wafers, and wire. It would help if I had found the right one. Stone wire, which is a stone wafer and a piece of redstone, which will give you stone wire. And these are all used for to craft these different logic gates, and there's a lot of them, so be prepared. Cathodes, which are stone wafers and redstone torches, like pretty easy stuff, but it gets complicated. Stone anodes, 3 stone wafers, 4 redstone, and it gives you 3 anodes. And finally a pointer, which is stone wafer, redstone torch, and stone. Unfortunately, that is the easy part, and now it gets to crafting the actual logic gates. So the first one I'm going to show you is a timer, and the recipe is, you can see it's pretty complicated, and all the logic gates are like this. So if you have not enough items, this sort of makes your life easier when you're like playing a let's play and wanting to craft these. So stone wafers, wires, pointers, cathodes, and anodes. So most of the parts I showed you. Right, so the pointer, just place it down, and you can see that there is, it sort of times itself. So once it gets down to this place, it produces a redstone signal, and it would help to show you this if I had some red alloy wire. So you can see once it reaches this point, it does a redstone signal, pulses a redstone signal, and using the screwdriver, any logic gate, it would be best to show you now. Like orientates it so it goes different. Um, yeah, let me just change it so you can change which direction the logic gate is pointing to. So that's what a screwdriver does. And you can see once it reaches to this certain place, it pulses. It will pulse the redstone signal. Now, if you right clicked on this without like using a screwdriver, you can see the timer interval. Now you can decrease this to however short you want. So 0.2 seconds. You can see that's how fast it pulses, and you can pulse it to like, I don't know, 120 seconds. So, and then it goes slower. So that's the timer. So you can use that to, I don't know, whenever you, to sort of have a counter, if you like, if you want a timer, time something, how something goes on for. The next one is a NOR gate, and wow, did I have to get a stack? Now this is, I have no idea. Let's be. A NOR gate is. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back once I do my research. Okay, guys, I'm back and I've done my research, and this just goes to show how little I use some of these like logic gates. Like I use some of them, like the timer, I use a lot, but some of these I just really don't know what they're about. But the NOR gate, I found out, is basically this is the output and side because it's producing a redstone signal. So when all the inputs, which are these sides, that's the output, and all the rest are inputs. When all the inputs are like turned off, all the inputs are turned off, it produces a redstone signal. But if you had, I need a couple of levers. If you had a couple of levers and all of these were turned on, it turns off the thing. So you can see that's turned on, but if you have activate one of them, the output turns off. So when the input, any of these inputs, I don't know if you can change these. So if any of these inputs are turned on, so there's a redstone signal going into the input, the output turns off. So that's the NOR gate. I know I'm explaining these pretty cruelly, but what you gotta do. Now the next one is an OR gate, and this is pretty obvious. I should even know what this is. So the output is which way is the output? Right, here's the output, and the OR gate basically means is if either these two inputs, I'm not sure about this one, I don't think so. If either of these inputs, the output is on. So if I was to put a signal on this side, the signal turns on. If I was to put it on this side, the signal goes on as well. I don't know about this back, and does that work? Yeah, it works. It works at the back here as well. And so basically the OR gate is if any of the inputs, any, just has to be one, is turned on, the output is also turned in. And yeah, so you can see from like two of these already that logic gates make it like extremely useful to create other like more complicated things. I'm just showing you like the basics of them, but it's up to your imagination to see what you can produce really. And next one is a NAND gate, which is, oh my god, I've just realized I've completely forgot to show you the recipes, but so I'm gonna go back, and OR gate is just more complicated stuff. You know what, if I was to give you a link to I wanted to be in cheat mode, I don't know why that disappeared. I'm gonna give you a link to the wiki of RedPower, so and that will show you like all of these logic gates and how to craft them. Much more easier than me remembering to uh, like show you the crafting recipes. So the NAND gate is, I think, if all three, yeah. So a NAND gate is if all three of these inputs are turned on, this redstone output is turned off. So now you can see I've disabled all the redstone going into it, redstone signals going into it. The redstone, the output is turned on. So it has to be all of them has to be turned on in order for the output to be turned off. So if you have 1, it doesn't change anything. 2 doesn't change anything. 3, it changes. It turns off. Now you can, like I say, orientate these. Now there might actually be a way to disable one of those, but I'm not totally sure on that. But moving right on, we'll get the AND gate. So, like I said, I'll put a link in the description to the wiki to show you, so they show you the recipes, because I'm too lazy to. The AND gate, you would expect, is a pretty easy one. Basically, if you have all of these are turned on, that's turned off. So it's different to this one where if all of them are turned on, the signal turns off, and I've reorientated that. So if all of these are on, that turns off. But with the AND gate, all of these signals, the input signals, are when they are turned. All of them are turned on. That's when the output activates, and that's the AND gate. So the next one is I don't really actually know how you pronounce this. XNOR gate. Yeah, let's just call it XNOR gate. XNOR gate is I have no idea. Like some of these, I'm just like experimenting with as well, because like I said, I haven't really used any all of these gates. I've only used like a selected few. So this looks pretty interesting. So let's see what this does. Yeah. So it appears that if you have this side, it can't connect. So it's just the two sides. Maybe yeah, it doesn't seem to connect. But let's see, if you have one input going in, it ignores this. It turns the signal off. Yet if you have both, it turns it on. So, and you have both, it's turned on. So it seems to be like a combination of AND gate and another gate. I don't know. Don't ask me on these. That's one of them. One of the logic gates I've never used before. Moving swiftly on, a buffer gate is, like I said, you can go to the wiki and you'll be able to know in full detail what all of these gates do. I'm just giving you a crude way of doing it, and I'm also experimenting at the same time, which is not really good. Now this, I think, let me try find the output. This is a buffer. This is a buffer gate. So if you have all three things turned on, all three inputs turned on, the output turns on rather, and yes, so it seems to be a three-way OR gate, in that any of these signals turn. Oh no. Oh, that's quite interesting. So if you have both of the side ones turned on, what does that do? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't seem to do anything. I think it has to be, those two sides don't really matter, do they? But it looks like if you turn on this part, all sides are turned on. But I have to set it to peaceful, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just the darkness, really. And if you have turned that off, and what happens if you turn this on? I don't really. It doesn't do anything. This, it turns that part on, and this, it turns that on, but that doesn't do anything. I think it's only when this is turned on, then like it affects the main output. You know what? I'll probably go check out on this one because I really have no idea. So be right back. Okay. So I went back onto the wiki and I found out what this buffer gate does. So basically, it specifically says that when the input is turned on, all three outputs are turned on as well. So basically what it means that, because this is the input, you can sort of tell from this sort of small redstone torch. So basically, if this was turned off, all three outputs are turned off, and when that's on, all three outputs are turned on. So this can be used to separate the signal into three different things, three different locations if you want to. And so that's the buffer gate. The RS latch is one I think I should know what it does. So RS latch is if you have an input. Nope. If you turn that, I think if you have this side turned on, it switches. So, and if you have this, it switches. Yeah. So, I don't actually really get this, but if you have, so the, what is it? The RS latch, I think it affects from these two sides, not the torches. So if you have one side powered and the other side that's not powered, one of the torches comes on, and I'll look at my crewness. And if you have that one activated and the other side torch comes on, so I can only really actually, that's the best I can really explain it. So if you have this one activated and that one not activated, that side goes on, and vice versa, this side comes on. But if you have both off, which I don't think you can, but yeah, I don't think it's possible to have both off. So, but if both are on, the two are distinguished, so no current, no output is coming out. So that's the RS NOR latch, or no, just the RS latch. Then we move on to a toggle latch, which is one I definitely know about. Now this one, I just want to show you the recipe real quick because it involves a lever. And the lever, if you have these two sides are the output, right? And this lever, you can actually right click on this lever and it allows you to switch between two different directions. Now you can do this manually by right clicking the lever, or if it receives a redstone signal, it automatically turns, and so it keeps, whenever it receives a signal, it switches to the other side. which is pretty much self-explanatory. And if you want a signal to go different directions but alternating, you could add like a timer or something to alternate between both signals. And so that's the toggle latch. The next one is did I show you? Yeah, I showed you the timer. So we go to the sequencer. Now the sequencer, I think, is basically, if you tick, you can right click it again and it shows, and you can change the time. And this basically, it goes around in a clockwise direction, and it goes through all the different outputs. And I've run out of red oil wires. Great. And it goes through all of these signals, so if I make this a bit faster, you should be able to see better. 2 seconds. So it goes through all the, it goes in the clockwise direction through all the different directions, and basically it allows you to, it changes the between the different outputs, the 4 directional outputs. So you can change it however long it takes to transition between the different outputs, and that's a sequencer. And not long left. I know it's getting pretty long, but there's only about 3 or 4 left. Pulse former. This is actually just pretty easy really. If I can find a different output. Nope. Okay, this is pretty easy. Just let's try. That's not the output then. Let's see. Let's reorientate this for a sec. So yeah, you can see now I finally orientated correctly. It basically, if the input side, which is this side, if you look, it sort of gives it away, but when you input this side, you can see very fast that it produces a pulse. So if I was to do that, you can see 1 pulse, and that's it. Just 1 pulse of redstone signal, and then it sort of resets itself, and then you would have to do another signal in the input to get another pulse of redstone, which is basically what that does, hence why it's called a pulse former. And a multiplexer. Let's see. Another one I haven't used out of the many I haven't actually experimented. So the multiplexer is I don't actually really know, but another one that's actually confusing me. So if that turns that on, that turns nothing, that turns that one. Okay, so you notice how the one that's actually lit up is sort of the making the redstone signal. So if you were to have this one travel, that makes that one. Don't mind me. I'm just talking like random stuff. So yeah, be right back. Okay, so check the wiki once again, and still confused about it because the wiki definition is the center input controls which side output start that again. The center controls which input controls the outputs. So in other words, any 3 of these inputs will control how the output is given out. I don't know. Don't question me on that. Right. So guess that's a multiplexer, the one that I have no idea about. but two more left, and these ones are pretty easy to. So this one is the counter. So if you right click on this, I think you need a redstone signal. Yeah, you definitely need, and this. Let's see. Right, you would require this, and set this back today. And you can see that there is a negative and a positive. Now a what is it called? Counter, basically one side basically means +1. So I think this side is -1. So whenever this is like has a pulse of redstone, it goes towards the negative, and this, which is means +1, makes it move to the positive. And whenever it reaches to the end, like the positive or the negative, the input is on, the output is on rather. And if you right click on it, you can see you can change the amount of max count. So if you had a maximum count of 5, it would only take 5 it would only take 5 pulses to reach the place. And you can also change the increments, so when you go up to the positive, you can change it so that it goes +5, or 6 rather, 5. So it would take 1 pulse to get to this, and you can, when it decreases, you can set it to, let's say, 2. So you require 2.5, which is 3 pulses to reach there. And yeah, so that's basically how a counter works. When it reaches a certain value, whatever the max count value is, and through increasing it and decreasing the values using the 2 different inputs, then it gives the output signal on the appropriate side. Now finally, right, we get to the repeater. Now those you might be used to the redstone repeater, so I'll show you this as well. A normal vanilla redstone repeater, basically it repeats the redstone signal, but it also, you can change it. It delays it, so you can activate it, and then about, I don't know, a bit longer, it does the signal. So however long you delay it, so if you have that, then after a while it leads off, and it delays it basically, depending on how many times you right click it. Now the redstone the redstone repeater in RedPower is much more advanced. For one, you get, if you have many more values, so you can do this, and it basically repeats it, but it has many more different notches, if you like, and you can make it more, I don't know, make it more accurate depending on how long you want to delay the redstone for. So if you had, at the first one, it's pretty much instantaneous. You can't really see much. Pretty much instantaneous. I mean, you can see a bit of a delay. However, if you reach to the end and you had a signal, just try this, right? Where's that always on? No idea. Right, so if you have it to the end, you can see what is wrong with this. It's probably something I don't really know about. So okay, so that delays it, and if you had a longer delay, it has a longer delay, and if you had the longest delay, it would take, I think, pretty long actually. It's actually really long. So yeah, so the delays are pretty ridiculous. So yeah, so those are all the logic gates. You can see there's a lot. If I set myself to creative, you can see that's a lot of different logic gates. So you can have lots of fun experimenting with all these logic gates because they all produce different effects, really. And so I know I explained them pretty cruelly and pretty like the fundamental basics, and I had no idea on some of them. But you can check out the wiki. The link shall be in the description, and you can check out what each of these does in a much more understandable way. So, but if you found this helpful in any way, please like, comment, and give me a rating. I would appreciate that. So, but next time we shall be showing you redstone, I think world generation of RedPower, and that should be fun. So I shall see you next time.